Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And I'm super excited. It's a rainy day outside, and I had actually forgotten my Starbucks mug, or my cup. So if you don't know, I'm really into this using reusable cups for Starbucks and, you know, water bottles and things like that now, as far as like doing your part for the environment. It's interesting, it really hit me hard last night because I was at the gas station, I was getting gas, and like I was looking at the trash bins because I was like throwing some stuff away, you know? And they were filled to the brim with water bottles. And now that I've really started, like, you know, almost broke my straw. Now that I've made, like, you know, a concerted effort to do this and, you know, to try to use reusable water bottles and reusable, you know, coffee cups, and I keep on hitting my straw, coffee cups and things like that, you know, I really notice how much waste I produced before, you know, as far as like plastic and things like that, you know, and it's really, really sad. And I had a friend of mine recently, he went completely like green doing all this kind of stuff, and I said to him, I think I shared about this on here, and I said to him, I said, you know, what was the difference for you? And he goes, when I started having kids and I thought about their future, not necessarily the future of our world while we're here, but their future and what the world's gonna look like for them. And I thought, you know, that's profound. And so anyway, you know, I wanna do my little bit. So I forgot my coffee cup today. I have several of them, but I forgot any of them when I was leaving to go to my personal trainer this morning, and I wanted to get coffee afterwards. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy a new cup. Like, I've been saying I wanted to get another one. So I bought this one today. It was, I think it was, the price tag's on the bottom. It was $24.95. But I used my app, so that goes towards points to buy another cup. There were like 3 cups there. I actually went to one Starbucks and they didn't have any cups there except for just a clear plastic one, so I went to the next one, but I think it's really pretty, don't you? The other thing is that these are like limited edition. Like, they make a bunch of them and then they don't sell them anymore. And I showed this on a picture on Instagram today, and somebody already messaged me and said they have been trying to buy it for their son and they couldn't find it anywhere. What happens is they sell them on like, you know, in the Starbucks and places like that. Then people buy them and they resell them on Etsy and eBay for more. And then once they're not available anymore, they shoot through the roof. I mean, seriously, like, I wanted to buy this one and it was like twice as much as the, not this one, but another one. And it was like twice the price of the original. So I was like, I'm gonna start buying them when they come out. And I'll just have, I mean, I use these so much. So anyway, drink your coffee while we read the meditations. I know that had nothing to do with the meditations, but these are the 4 books that I have not read from today, okay? I don't know anything that they say in here, so I'm gonna just open them, and we're gonna find out what they, I may go, no, we're not gonna read that one. But I'm gonna just open them and see what they're talking about. So this is from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations by Linda Picone. Waiting for success. I couldn't wait for success, so I went ahead without it. Jonathan Winters. I forgot about him as the comedian. Too often we try to postpone our lives while we wait to reach one goal or another. We put off dating until we've lost a certain amount of weight. We wait to have nice people over. We wait to have people over for dinner until we can afford nicer furniture. We delay having children until we're more successful in our career. But life doesn't wait. It just keeps going, whether we're where we want to be or not. I like the idea of throwing myself into life, success or no success. You know, it's an interesting topic. I have to say, and I'm gonna share something on here about YouTube, because I really learned this lesson with YouTube. But one of the things that surprised me for years was, so I know a lot of couples that wait to get married until they can afford the ring that they want to get, the engagement ring, which is always interesting to me, you know? And my husband and I was actually the one that proposed to my husband, and we have just really, I don't wear them because my fingers are too fat, but he wears them every day. So I'm still waiting to lose weight, because if I get them sized, I can't get them sized back down again because of the kind of ring they are. And I've been saying that for years, so yeah, I know. So anyway, so I bought the rings from Tiffany's because it was a kind of ring that he really wanted, and they weren't super expensive or anything like that. And then our wedding bands are from Tiffany's as well, and they were not super expensive or anything like that. But I remember back in the day, like, thinking to myself, like, I would be completely fine with a wooden ring, you know, and I totally would too. And actually, a wooden ring is kind of a little bit my style, you know. And I mean, I like nice things too, but I always thought it was kind of sad that people like felt like, I don't know, like, I always thought that that was this, that we have to have the right ring. We have to have like the perfect ring and things like that, you know? And I'm sure that there's some of you out there watching this and are like, well, I wanted it to be nice and whatever, but like, I've never understood that. Like, I never did, you know, like, I don't know, it just is sad to me. I feel like in society, you have to have the right ring, and that right ring represents your marriage, and that's just so not the case, right? You know, and it's funny because like our wedding bands mean so much to us because of kind of like a backstory to the wedding bands with them. And Alex got the wedding bands and I got the engagement bands. And it's kind of like there's like a funny story to both. So it's kind of, and it's kind of private, you know? I think we've actually shared a little bit of it in some videos. But you know, like I don't think that it has anything to do with the price of the ring or whatever. But like it's always interested to me when I'll say something to somebody, I'll be like, so have you guys thought about getting married? And they'll be like, oh yeah, we're like, and they've been together like 10 years. And they're like, yeah, you know, we're saving up for a ring. And I'm like, so you guys are going to get married soon. I'm like, do you realize, I just want to say, do you realize that a wedding is 10 times more expensive than any ring you're going to ever have? Like if you really, you know, I don't know. I always tell people this too, listen, okay, and this is just my 2 cents, my opinion about the rings, but don't wait. Like if you want to get married and you can't afford the right engagement ring, propose to her anyway. Propose to her with a gum wrapper and say, I want to get you the ring that you deserve. And you know, maybe we can figure it out over the course of a couple years. And if you want to wait till then, we can. But like, I love you. A lot of people don't know where we stand. And I think often we're afraid to, this is not what I thought this meditation was going to be about, but I think often people are afraid, you know, to go that next step. I get asked this all the time, like, you know, oh, my boyfriend and I, we've been together for so long and he hasn't proposed to me and he won't really talk about, you know, marriage to me and whatever. And I think often, you know, or vice versa or whatever. Or we've talked about it, we don't know how to make the next step. And I'm like, well, listen, first of all, I'm no marriage expert, obviously, okay? But second of all, you know, like, I think it's about taking risks. It's about talking to each other. You know, if I've learned anything in over 2 years of marriage counseling and, you know, going through the 12 points of intimacy and on and on and on, one of the things I've learned is that communication is key. And when we talk about communication, it's not just about asking each other, you know, what's going on or where we're standing. Not that kind of, when people say we have poor communication, it's about being honest with each other and saying, you know what, we've been dating for 8 years now. Marriage is something that's important to me. You know, I want to have kids. We need to have that discussion. Is this something that you want? Or is this Boo Radley literally dropped from the ottoman over here. Or is that not something that you want? If it's not something that you want, then we need to start talking because, you know, there are things I want. And that's where you maybe go to counseling and you discuss negotiables and non-negotiables and things like that. That, you know, I think have been recommended in a lot of, you know, couples counseling. I also would always highly suggest, okay, people going to premarital counseling. I really wish it's something that my husband and I had done before we got married, you know? I think, like, just to kind of, like, mend out some of those things that you don't know when you're getting in. Listen, I take marriage very, very seriously. So, you know, I think for people to go do that, that would be one of the things I would suggest. But if you want to get married and you can't afford a ring, don't wait. Talk to them. Say, I want to propose to you. Like, I'm ready. And it doesn't have to always be this huge secret. It's like, you know, like, I think we've gotten to this place where you have to invite people to homecoming and prom, and it has to be this huge deal, right? Sometimes the most simplest things are the nicest things to do. Sometimes people aren't extravagant people. Maybe sometimes they don't want, you know, a surprise party engagement. I don't know. But the other thing I wanted to say about here, about waiting for success, is, and that totally was not what I thought I was going to be talking about in this meditation today. You know, about this whole idea of too often we try to postpone our lives while we wait to reach one goal or another. We put off dating until we've lost a certain amount of weight. Okay, when I wanted to start YouTube, and I mean get serious about YouTube, I had posted some silly videos before that, but when I wanted to get serious about YouTube and start a booktube channel, so my first real channel that I ever like really made a, you know, a serious effort to post on a regular basis was Peter Likes Books, my booktube channel. Well, I can remember sitting there and like watching booktubers, and I still to this day watch so many booktubers, you know, and I was like, I really want to do this, I really want to do this, but I'm so fat, you know, I want to lose weight. I'm going to lose 50 pounds or 100 pounds before I get on video. I'm not going to get on video when I'm this heavy. So that was almost 3.5 years ago. I'm about the same weight as I was when I started my channel. And I'm not proud of the fact that I haven't lost weight. I've been on diets, I've been to gyms, I have a personal trainer, I've been on this Optavia program and all this kind of stuff, and that's because I don't stick with stuff, you know, and because I have, you know, food issues and I have food addiction issues and on and on and on. But, and those aren't excuses. Those are things I know to be true, and those are things I need to work on, and I know what I need to do, and I just don't stick to it. But, you know, the thing is that the greatest thing that's happened to me in the last 20 years of my life, other than meeting my husband, because my sobriety is 24 years ago, and that's always the #1 thing in my entire life. Without my sobriety, I have nothing in my life. take it very, very seriously. But, you know, the greatest thing that's happened to me, I would say, you know, other than meeting my husband, my sobriety, my relationships with my family, things like that, is being on YouTube. I mean, this has offered me a world that I never in a million years, ever thought that I would have, you know? I never thought that I would have one, let alone 5 channels, and that I would have developed relationships with other people that do the same thing, you know, that I would be able to have a platform where I get to be creative every day and do creative stuff and come up with fun, different ideas, you know, that I would be able to do like reading challenges. I just met some of the most amazing people, you know, even on just, you know, like take one small thing that's happened is, you know, Mel, who co-hosts, the reading, my book club, Peter's Book Club, which we're changing the name to that because it's an all true crime book club now. You know, she's probably one of the greatest friends I've ever met in my entire life. Had I never started my BookTube channel, I would never have met her, you know? Because I was afraid to get on camera because I was too heavy. And I'm still the same weight that I was 3.5 years ago when I started BookTube. And I remember that day, I just sat down right over there and I put the camera up and I was like, screw it, I'm doing this. I don't really care. I don't care how I look. I'm doing this, okay? And, you know, really, I think I stand in the way of my own success many, many times. I am the one that sabotages myself. I am the one that doesn't allow myself to be all that I can be, you know? And, you know, the thing that's interesting with weight, it's hard sometimes for me because I see so many people that are heavier and love themselves anyway, and they're super successful. And so I see that, and I'm like, when I allow that to creep in my head, that my weight is an issue to my success, is when I have to look at other people. Now, I don't want to be super heavy. Like, that's not, I don't find happiness at that point, and so I struggle with that, right? Because I like to eat, but I don't want to be heavy, so I have to figure out this, you know, healthiness in between there and do the things I need to do, and it's time to get on it, okay? But at the same time, I've met a lot of people that are heavier than I am, or as heavy as I am, that are super successful. Why would I ever let that stand in the way of my own success, you know? And I think it really has a lot to do with your own confidence level, your own self-worth, that they look at themselves and feel maybe something different than I feel when I look at myself in the mirror, you know? And I don't know. But I think we all have those things that we think to ourselves, we're not good enough, we're not ready enough, you know? I think that was one of the things, like, okay, so before, when I was writing my book, like before I ever wrote my book, you know, I would write bits and pieces of books. I'm always writing, always writing, right? And so I would think to myself, it would start here. Oh, you have to go this way for you. Well, I don't know which way I'm supposed to go. I'll go backwards. So for you, it'll be this way. It doesn't matter. But here I would start, okay, here's my idea. Oh, I'm so excited about it. I'm gonna write it. It's gonna be really good. I can't wait to finish it. But what happens when I finish it? Nobody's gonna like it. Nobody's gonna read it. No literary agent's gonna wanna read it. No publisher's ever gonna see it. What's the point if it can't get published? Because if I write it and nobody ever reads it, what's the point? There's no reason to even start the book. And that's what would happen. And I would talk myself out of every creative endeavor. Not just writing a book, not just YouTube, because that happened with YouTube too, right? What's the point in making a video if nobody's going to watch a video? What's the point? Nobody's going to ever hear anything I have to say. I mean, it just, I script this crap in my head, this negative talk, right? Why? Why do that to myself, you know? It's just, it's totally not worth it. And so I realized over time that I have to change that tape in my head. And I have to change that tape in my head too. But if I write a book, then I will have felt like I did something successful. And I finished a book, even if nobody else ever reads it, even if no literary agent ever looks at it, even if no publisher ever sees it, I wrote a book. And that's what I have to say to myself today, right? That I'm doing that for me. And I think often we get stuck in the end result instead of, you know, in the journey. And I think that's why we see these sayings on Pinterest and on Instagram, you know, it's not the journey, or it's not the destination, it's the journey. The journey is the destination and all these things, right? And we believe that. We really, really want to believe that. But do we really believe that? Do we really believe that? Or are we really focused on the end result? I think often we're really focused on the end result. I think it's why like holidays like Christmas are really hard, because we have this huge buildup and we get really excited, and it's the decorating, and it's the open houses, and it's the Christmas concerts, and it's the trimming of the tree, and it's the making the cookies, and it's the buying the presents. And then Christmas Day night comes and the 26th comes and we're depressed, you know? It's like, it's all a letdown. What happened? You know, it's over. Christmas is over. And I think it's like the last day of a vacation, you know? People always tell us that we shouldn't do this, but Alex and I always, on the last day of our vacation, plan our next vacation. And for us, the reason that we do it is it's something exciting to look forward to. We start talking on that last day about what next trip we want to take. And it's good for us because we don't want to be caught in the, you know, like, oh, well, it's me, we got to go back home again. You know, I think it's also this, too, like, enjoying your life enough and being grateful for your life enough to be content with your life enough that no matter what it looks like without that thing happening, without that success happening, you're happy where you are today. You're content and you're grateful so that you can work from a point of gratitude to strive for that success that you want in your life. But if you don't reach it, to realize I am already successful in the life that I have right now. I just want success in a different way. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about those meditations. I love you and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.